By the summer of 1833, just 2 years after Latter-day Saints first began settling here in Independence, more than 1,200 members of the church had moved here. They quadrupled the population of Independence. At a time when sectional controversies between North and South, the same disagreements that would lead to the American Civil War, were on the rise, the mostly Southern early settlers of Independence were concerned that the mostly Northern Latter-day Saints would upset the local racial balance and political balance. On July 20th, 1833, 2 years to the day since Joseph Smith had received the revelation designating this place as the center place of Zion, a citizens committee drew up a petition asking the Latter-day Saints to leave Jackson County. On that day, a mob attacked many members of the Latter-day Saint community. William Phelps had his home and print shop raided by the mob. They threw the press in the street and scattered all of the printed materials that he had made. They tore down his home. Sidney Gilbert was able to save his home and his shop by agreeing not to open the store ever again. Bishop Edward Partridge and another member, Charles Allen, were brought here to the public square, where they were tarred and feathered and made a public mockery of. After these attacks, church leaders felt that they would have very little legal recourse. As a result of that, they agreed to leave the area, agreeing that half the members of the church would leave by January of 1834, and the remainder of the saints would leave here by April of that year. When Joseph Smith learned of the agreement, however, he told church leaders in Missouri that they must assert their rights as citizens. He told them to seek legal recourse to maintain their properties here in Jackson County. When the Citizens Committee learned of this advice, they were angry. In late October and early November of 1833, they attacked several of the Latter-day Saint homes in the area. Many homes were burned. Men were pulled from their homes, whipped and beaten. Women and children were terrorized, and at least one Latter-day Saint and 2 Missourians were killed. Shortly after these attacks, church leaders met with leaders of the Citizens Committee. They negotiated a peace, but that peace required that Latter-day Saints leave Jackson County. Throughout the winter of 1833 and 34, many Latter-day Saints lived on the hospitality of the citizens of Clay County, while they petitioned both state and federal government for assistance in reclaiming their properties in Jackson County. At the same time that the Citizens Committee of Jackson County was calling on saints to leave the area and mob violence was on the rise, Joseph Smith dictated the revelation that is now Section 98 of the Doctrine and Covenants. There is no documentary evidence to indicate that Joseph Smith was aware of the violence which had occurred here in Jackson County just 2 weeks earlier. And yet this revelation addresses specifically how Latter-day Saints should respond when they're mistreated by their neighbors. This revelation also directs Latter-day Saints to participate in civic affairs, to seek wise and honest and good men and women, and to uphold them and support them as they seek public office. The Lord also directs us not to seek revenge and to be patient in suffering the wrongs that are inflicted on us by others. He promises them, "If thou wilt spare him, your enemy, thou shalt be rewarded for thy righteousness, and also thy children and thy children's children unto the 3rd and 4th generation."